A very good evening. You're watching Big Bang with me, Shruti. The H1N1 infection had created quite a stir in Bengaluru a couple of years back. With monsoon right around the corner, the fear is back to haunt Bengalurians. It has been 5 years since bird flu made an entrance in India and the H1N1 virus was detected in the victims. It eventually made its way to Bengaluru. Following numerous reports of infections and deaths, the residents hope that BBMP would have taken measures to ensure it never comes back.
H1N1 or swine flu as it is commonly called, we know came to Karnataka in 2009. Since then, we have been getting cases. Although there was an initial alarm, subsequently people realized that it is not a serious illness. This year also, with the advent of rains, we have seen 1 or 2 cases positive. It's nothing alarming.
Apart from infections, 3 people reportedly succumbed to the H1N1 virus last year. The reach is unfortunately expected to be higher by about 20% this year. According to doctors, if appropriate care is taken from the beginning, it can be treated like normal fever and the patient can be rid of the infection completely. But this is only possible if the virus is detected before it reaches the lungs. The first indication of an H1N1 infection is cough and high fever. If the cold continues, it is advisable to consult a doctor to prevent the infection from spreading to the lungs. The Health and Family Welfare Department has advised all residents of the city not to ignore the signs of deteriorating health.
People who get symptoms of common cold, that is sneezing, running nose, cough and fever, they should remember that normally they should get better in 2 to 3 days. If they don't get better in 2 to 3 days and their symptoms are worsening, especially if the cough is worsening and they develop difficulty in breathing or they have very high temperature, now these are warning signs that the virus is moving from the nose and throat down into the lung. Once it reaches the lung, it produces a very aggressive reaction. So that is why we say if any of these symptoms are there after 2 to 3 days, it's better to get treated.
There have been 4,829 infections and 135 deaths in the city due to H1N1 since 2009. The Palike has stated that they are doing the best they can to ensure no lives are lost to the deadly virus. All one can hope is a monsoon free of H1N1. Anand Burli, News 9, Bengaluru. Want to see the tourist side of Bengaluru from BMTC's point of view? Hop on to their Bengaluru Rounds buses to see Bengaluru like never before.
BMTC is attempting to reintroduce the city to Bengalurians with their revamped hop-on, hop-off buses. The new chain of 7 buses promises a full tour of the city in one single day. It links all the tourist spots across the city and ensures convenience with a bus every half hour. The buses start from 7 different spots across Bengaluru and venture on the day-long journey to 22 of the most sought-after tourist spots across the city. From Sankey Tank to the Jawaharlal Nehru Planetarium, the Vishveshwaraya Museum and even Tipu's Palace, these buses show all the famed locations of the city. For the spiritual seekers, you have the Dodda Basavana Temple, Gavi Gangadeshwara Temple and ISKCON Museum among the list of destinations. The facility will function like any other tourist bus. The conductor will tell you a little about the next destination to pep up your curiosity. The bus you've boarded will drop you off to the spot and continue with the trip. Commuters can go and spend as much time as they want at the tourist spots and come back and catch another one of these hop-on, hop-off buses to continue with the journey. It is planned in such a way that every half hour there is a bus to take you to the next destination. The circuit runs from 8:30 in the morning to 10 in the night. BMTC states that they have barely spent on the reintroduced project because all the 7 buses are nothing but the BMTC buses which have been revamped for the Bengaluru rounds. So if you're willing to revisit your favorite tourist destination in the city over the weekend, then these hop-on, hop-off buses are definitely worth considering. Pavitra for News 9, Bengaluru.
The much-awaited CET counselling for the current academic year got underway today, and day one focused on differently abled and NCC students. Take a look. The Karnataka Examination Authority turned into a beehive today, and it is going to remain so for the next few days. The first leg of CET counselling got underway, and documents of the students were reviewed by KEA officials. Physically challenged students had the honour of attending this year's CET counselling first. Several students with physical deformity, along with their parents, had come for the verification part, and they were as enthusiastic as any other students for that matter. The pride and confidence was very much evident for having made the cut for professional courses, which is a dream of thousands of students. The government has reserved 3% of the seats to physically challenged students in professional courses, but the students claiming a seat under this quota should have 40% of physical deformity. Hence, these students were subjected to several physical and medical checkups by qualified doctors. Today, counselling was also held for NCC students. Deepa, a physically challenged student from Sira, stole the show on day one of CET counselling. Despite the disability, she had strived hard, and the results are evident in her performance. She has secured 95% marks in second PU and wants to pursue medical course.
It is not very easy to get 100 in our chemistry. It was all because of our college, which helped me so much. And I have not attended even one day the tuitions. So I was confident about me, and I could that day's work I would complete in that day. I have got 1195 in medical ranking. I want to do medical in Bangalore Medical College. That is my aim. I want to help the physically handicapped in their childhood, like getting their problems solved at their childhood. And I want to be a pediatrist, a child specialist.
Physically challenged students have for sure shown that they are on par with the others. They have shown that determination and perseverance can take them a long way. Of course, it is high time that non-performers took a lead from their achievements. Amrita Patil, News9, Bengaluru. A complaint has been lodged against actors Puneet Rajkumar and Radhika Pandit. The complaint was lodged by RTE activists at the Child Rights Protection Commission. Director of RTE Task Force Nagasimha alleges that the two actors of disseminating false information via a commercial with regards to the right to education. Allegations are that Puneet and Radhika have made false claims in their commercials. And moving on, a road has become the bone of contention for two government agencies, with both of them claiming proprietary rights. The court's intervention was sought since the matter could not be resolved amicably. This beautifully laid and asphalted road you are looking at is within the GKVK campus near Jakkur. Two government entities, the GKVK and BBMP, are locked in a bitter battle over proprietary rights of this road. One might wonder how BBMP can claim ownership of the road when it is within the GKVK campus. Well, we will tell you the story. In the year 2007, GKVK banned the public from using all the roads passing through its campus. This caused trouble to thousands of residents living around the campus. Hence, BBMP decided to construct a road through the campus, connecting the areas behind the campus to NH7. The civic agency is believed to have spent about 15 crore rupees for 3.9 kilometers long road. The GKVK authorities, who were silent all this while watching the road being laid, later began to claim that the road belonged to them and proprietorship rests with them alone. They also objected residents using the road and filed a public interest petition in the High Court. After reviewing the petition, the court felt that since both parties were government entities, it was the prerogative of the Chief Secretary to resolve the issue. Well, in November 2013, Chief Secretary directed BBMP to hand over the road to GKVK. But BBMP has challenged his directive in court, and the court has stayed Secretary's order.
The Chief Secretary has passed an order closing the completed road of 3.9 kilometers. And he has directed the university to the Bangalore City Corporation to hand over the said road portion to Agricultural University. Now the Honorable Court stayed that order.
The residents heading towards Tindlu and Sahakar Nagar are in trouble since road passing through GKVK are closed for them. Hence BBMP has decided to construct another road to help the distressed residents. But after the construction of the road, GKVK wisely began to make claims of ownership. When our correspondent spoke to the Vice-Chancellor of the Agricultural University, he said that movement of vehicles was disturbing research students and hence he wanted the road to be handed over to GKVK. But BBMP Commissioner categorically refused to give up road rights to GKVK and said that he would go by the court's verdict.
Relating to this GKVK adjoining road, earlier when the property was acquired for GKVK, the entire area was fenced and handed over to GKVK. There was a request from neighbouring villages that their connectivity to national highway was cut off totally, and therefore there is need for a road for them. So with that intention, road was already formed. It is already formed. At that time there was no dispute. Once road is formed, now the dispute arose saying that the road has to be given back to GKVK. This matter was pending before the court, and court has given certain directions. We will strictly follow the directions of the court, and also we will look into the grievance of the people and try to settle the issue amicably.
Well, since both the agencies are unwilling to settle this issue, court's verdict is awaited in this regard. Anand Burli, News 9, Bengaluru.